Guys, tonight I'm going to talk about customer care, which is a topic that I happen to be really passionate about because historically I'm not someone that adds a ton of VIPs every month. And so for me, retention is everything. But even if you are someone that adds a lot of people, customer care is still really, really important. Why is it so important? Because your business is only as successful as your customers' experience. So you can add 20 people a month, but if you're not retaining them, then your business is never moving forward. And I have had actually several people on my team who are really good at adding, but weren't great at customer care, and they've lost all their people. So for me, I feel like customer care is almost, if it's not as important, it's almost more important to me than adding people because you want your customers to have that long-term success so you can continue building your business and not rebuilding it. So, the steps that I use toward great customer care start with setting expectations early in your conversations. Before they've ever ordered, I start putting it in their mind that we are a team, that I am their cheerleader, and that everyone responds differently to the product. So, it's super important that we work together toward their success. And so, I kind of hammer it well, not hammer it, but I really get it in their mind at the beginning, and then all through the process of customer care, I just keep repeating that. I let them know that I'm going to be checking in, that they need to check their messages, that if they have any questions, please reach out because we all want their success. And a great tool to use once they order is SurveyMonkey. Um, you can talk to your sponsor about it if you don't know what that is or don't have access to it. But what I love about it is that the questions help set the expectations and actually ask their permission for you to be able to check in, for you to be their accountability partner. So it's another way to really get ingrained in them that you are doing this as a team. Because I think it's important that they know that you're not just trying to sell them a product to make them feel better and going on your merry way. Like for me, customer care is like really the beginning of their journey because without it, many times people don't succeed. Triplex is tricky and people need to be guided through it and to make sure that they're getting the results that they need. And then the other thing, or that they want, the other thing that I think is super important is a handwritten thank you note. I know you can text, I know you can email, I know that you can send in Messenger a thank you, but for me, a handwritten one really shows that you're invested. I feel like it's so important to make that connection that you actually took the time to handwrite something and put it in the mail because again you want them to know that you're there for them, you're there to cheer them on. And I always like to put a sample in there, hydrate or active, something that's going to help them if they struggle with energy. And for me, I really like hydrate because so many people don't like to just drink plain water all the time, and water is so important to their success. So I give them hydrate to introduce them to another product and to help them have an option if water is a struggle for them. And so this is an example of something that I might say. Again, I handwrite this, but I just stress that they're trusting me and that that's a big deal to me. I stress that I'm excited because I want them to feel that excitement. I stress that again, that I'm a resource and that they need to reach out if they ever have any problems or questions. And something that I also kind of keep saying as we go through their process is that time and consistency are the keys to success. Because even if you tell them that once or twice, we are such a quick fix society that I think it's really important that they remember that time and consistency are really the key. And then of course I talk about what I've given them as a sample, which for me is typically hydrate, but sometimes I put active in there too. Hydrate fits better in my thank you note, so that's another reason that I like it. Um, Also, I think for me, customer care is a mindset. Um, I feel like this isn't just a customer, this is someone that I want to continue building that relationship. And so I really make a point to not just check on them during the customer care steps, but I watch their stories, I look at their posts. If they're kid just graduated high school, I'll go into Messenger and say, congratulations on graduation, because I want to keep building that relationship. Because the more you build the relationship, the more trust is built. And once they trust you, they know that they can come to you if they're having an issue, or if you're telling them a suggestion. Like if they're having a struggle with their products, they can trust you that you have their best interests in mind. And, sometimes people have diarrhea and they don't want to just talk about that. But if you're building that relationship and building that trust, that helps them to feel more comfortable with you. And I really find, I don't know, I just, building that relationship and talking about so many other things helps with retention. So we have a couple customer care tools that are really helpful in doing customer care. So it's not this big thing that is kind of looming over you, especially as your team grows and you have a lot of customers, because you'll have different starting points, you'll have different check-ins, and it can start to become overwhelming. So Jenny, Vicky, your sponsor, they all have the complete customer care system for Triplex as well as non-Triplex users. And what I love about it, it's step by step. It tells you, the day they order, the day after they order, all the way up until I think like 6 months. And the check-ins get less as the time goes on, but it's such a great tool to know what to say and when to say it. But some of the customer care I feel is wordy, or maybe it's not the way that I necessarily would talk. Or sometimes it says like, only send the first part, don't send the bottom, or send this if that. So make sure that you are reading the whole thing before you just send it. Don't just copy and paste. Really take the time to show them that you are like customizing it to them. But it's a great system. And if you have trouble remembering things, or you start to get overwhelmed, or you just would like a reminder, the Errands app is a great tool as well. And I know in Team Integrity, under the customer care album, there is like a YouTube tutorial about the Errands app. And so it kind of talks you how to use it. And you can just put that on your phone and then set reminders for the different people when they started, what they took, and all of that kind of thing. So for me, the timeline that I recommend is, like I said, beginning early in the conversations before they ever order, just instilling in them that you're going to keep checking in, that you guys are a team working together. And then once they order, the handwritten thank you note. Also, create a three-way chat with your sponsor, because this is such a great tool. And I explain to them that this is a resource for you, because sometimes you may have a question that I don't know. Sometimes I might not be available and you need an answer right away. Like maybe they do have diarrhea and they're freaking out and they go into the chat. But if I'm not available, then Vicky can say, hey, here, take, and just kind of be that assist and that support. So three-way chats are very, very important. And then while they're waiting for their product, send the Survey Monkey, add them to the team page and tag them in appropriate posts. I typically have Triplex users, so I like to tag them in the Triplex post, and then also what to expect your first 3 to 6 months. There are a ton of resources, so I encourage you to read through and see which posts are appropriate. Don't just tag them in everything, because you don't want to overwhelm them. You want them to actually be like, okay, this is useful to me. So I recommend just doing like 1 or 2, but obviously you do what you think is good. And then start the customer care system. It literally is step by step and tells you what to do. And of course, your sponsor or your team is an asset as well. So just don't feel like you are in this alone. And that's it. I'm done. My first Zoom.